What's going on, everybody, and welcome to the Other Side of the Firewall podcast, where we talk about the latest and greatest of cybersecurity news, as well as we highlight those movers and shakers and glass ceiling breakers, those people of color who've made it to the other side of the proverbial firewall. My name is Ryan Williams, and as always, I'm joined by Shannon Tynes.
What's up? What's up?
What's going on? Welcome to season 2. I'm already losing track what episode this is. Would this be 7?
7.
Episode 7 of season 2. Super excited. We're now over the Heroes Media Group. So definitely continue to tune in. If you've already been a subscriber, you've been redirected. So don't worry about it. If you're new to us, please like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Share us with your nerdy friends so that we continue to grow. So we're super excited about all these new opportunities. And if you or someone you know is a mover and shaker, glass ceiling breaker in this industry, please have them reach out to us, or you can reach out to us to try to get them on the show. Without further ado, I give it to Shannon.
All right, everybody. So this article actually comes from the Hacker News, right? And the title of this one is "Why Honeytokens Are the Future of Intrusion Detection." So what they talk about here, right, is they had an RSA, right? It's a cybersecurity conference, and that was in San Francisco. And one of the highlights was from the CEO of Mandiant at Google Cloud. His name was Kevin Mandia. And one of the things he was talking about was honeypots being effective at helping organizations detect intrusion, malicious activities, things like that, right? So apparently it's not a common occurrence. I was not of the impression that was not a normal thing, to be honest with you. So like I know we're different career fields when we were in, Ryan, but like honeypots was something that was discussed in our CDCs, right? Our career development courses is one of the things that was talked about. So for me, being in the military all those years, I was just like, hey, this is kind of the norm, right? And you see it in some places, out in the civilian world as well, right? So pretty much what a honeypot is, for the uninitiated, it's just like it's a fake setup, right? That you try to lure the bad guys to. You want to get them as far away from your real environment, and you have this honeypot, right? Just like attracting people to something sweet, right? That's what it is. And you have that out there for people to attack on, right? And in that environment, you can monitor it still, right? Like you can like do a little bit of auditing, you know what I mean? You can see where different things are coming from, you know what I mean? To try to kind of make yourself better as well, right? It's kind of like a learning tool for you, right? So you just don't want people in your real environment. So what he's talking about is taking is having more instances of honeypots out there for people to utilize to try to make it a more attractive environment than to have people go for what you really have out there. So it's kind of they talk about the future of intrusion detection as well, right? So intrusion detection is something that's remained under the radar for a long time. And it's like software supply chains are the new priority target for attackers, right? So they talk about it's DevOps, DevSecOps, whatever you use, right? It's kind of it's one of those things where it's talking about baking in cybersecurity, right? Like how you do that, not the add-on thing, but to do it right from the beginning, right? Is what DevOps gets into, and it's what they kind of get into and saying that's the future, right, of how we need to do things, because you have a lot of people just want to get stuff off the ground nowadays, right? Like they want to have their company start up, and they think about cybersecurity after the fact. They think about, okay, what's going to make us the money? Cool, we got a website, we can have people put their credit cards in here, we could do the money, but then you're not thinking about the security of all of that, right? Because as we've discussed before, and as we discussed just recently, right, when it came to the software company for the medical records, when you lose public trust, like it's hard to get people back, right? And I'm not saying that's what happened with the one I'm discussing from before, but it is going to be hard to get back, right? Like they had to go back to a previous article, they had 2 breaches in 5 months. So you want to try to stay away from that, right? So it takes 327 days. So on average, they say it takes 327 days to identify a data breach, right? That's a long time. When you do Honeytokens, is something they're talking about doing now. You put them in multiple locations. Security teams can detect breaches within minutes, right? Because you're already monitoring that environment to see what's going on, and it's something that you're actively looking at, right? So again, they want us to try to get into this whole honeypot thing, attract people away, and then you can do more research and figure out what these enemies are doing that are trying to get your information. But Ryan, what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think you're definitely hitting all the objectives of the article. So yeah, we were different career fields. So it was definitely my CDCs and what have you, but when I was I was more on the network infrastructure side. So like firewalls and Palo Altos, next gen firewalls, all that good stuff. Um, you know, traffic sniffers, IPS, IDS, all that good stuff. But we weren't really setting up the honeypots. A, they're super complex, and B, it just was not in our skill set, right? Like we configure the stuff, we maintain the stuff, but we didn't really go into those great details. So definitely something I was always interested in, but I was not a blue teamer, so to speak. Just regular old defender, just checking logs the best I could. But they do make a good point of pointing out, like you said, 327 days is a humongous time, right? They're in there, they're persistent, they're doing what they need to do. They probably already exfiltrated the data by then. And they're just keeping the back door open in case they can go back in case you did not figure it out in that time frame. And again, it comes down to your SIM solution, all that good stuff. Like, will it find these things? But I did like this article. By the way, point out it came from Nathaniel Desir, longtime listener of the show. Appreciate you sending us this article. The previous one from yesterday episode with the next gen, that came from Chris Abacon. So I like to give people their credit when they give us a good article to discuss. So both of these were excellent. We chose this one for our discussion. So thank you again. But yes, so Honeytokens, I can see that being more not easier to say, what I'm trying to say, applied more regularly in the environment because they're not as complex to design, right? Like honeypot has to be created. It's a decoy that has to look similar. It has to be protected, right? You don't want to create a honeypot that then lures people into your actual system. So there's a lot of complexity there. You have to have people who are very skilled. Not to say they don't have to be very skilled to create these tokens, but it's easier to create, disseminate. It's kind of like once they're made, it's like throwing USBs in a parking lot, right? To see who will pick it up and put it in their machine. In this case, would-be attackers, this is like the gold mine, right? They don't have to do as much work because they'll find a token. They can use that to access the system, escalate the privileges. Like, not to say it makes it easy target for people who are less skilled, but you have a lot less skilled people out there poking around, right? They find one of these tokens, they're like, oh, okay, I got the keys to the kingdom. I can go in and do what I want to do. I can go snoop and what have you. And now you have something that draws an instant flag, right? Your SIM solution will hopefully be configured because you built these decoy tokens to pop immediately, and now you can track that person, see how they're moving about your network. And if anything, it gives you a real life scenario that is hopefully harmless to your environment, where you can actually follow this person around as they do what they do. And that will be the future, right? Like you get to actually see how a real life human being, as opposed to doing like a pen test, black box, whatever, white box, black box, in a very sterile environment. You get to see a real life person moving around your environment and seeing, okay, like these are our holes. This is what we need to protect. This is what we need to secure. This is how somebody would traverse and escalate their privileges in real life, but it's harmless to you because it's a decoy token, right? You've already set it up. They have a ceiling where they cannot get in there to do any damage. So I like it. I think it's using the bad guys' tactics against them, right? Like again, it feels like the USB solution or the CD that's been left on a desk or whatever else we're using to make sure our trainees, so to speak, can't think of the word, but our audience is doing what they're supposed to do. And the bad guys use it too, right? They'll throw a bunch of USBs in the parking lot and hope somebody picks them up and they can start access the systems. So now we can throw out these tokens that can be hosted in the cloud, or you can put them in a honeypot if you design and develop one, and then you can actually see them traverse your network. So I think it's a cool idea. I've never heard about it until now, so I'm not sure if it was something that's been thought about and kind of just being matured over time. But again, shout out to the sir for dropping this one in the inbox. So it's cool. I like to see how it works out in the future and see if it can be adopted into a security solution, right? Like, not only do we provide you hosting and the SIM solution and monitoring, but we also do the honey tokens to capture real life traffic and see how people are able to first steal these things and then how they're using them to access your environment, especially for a larger company. I think that'd be really good for their team to see. So good stuff. So I think that pretty much does it for this episode. Definitely check out the article. It'll be attached to the podcast episode description. So click through that and then read on it. I think there's some really good material in there. Definitely continue to listen to us, like, share, subscribe, share us with your nerdy friends, all that good stuff. If you know anybody who would be a good fit for the show, definitely hit us up. We'll see if we get them scheduled in there. You know, we're big time now. It's kind of busy, so might be a waiting list. I'm just kidding. Like, just hit us up and we'll get you on the calendar. Tune in throughout the week. So Monday, Tuesday are topics, Wednesday discussion like this one that you currently have, and then Fridays we talk about everything else aside from cyber. Definitely tune in for that one. It'll be lots of Guardians, non-spoilery talk, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, and all that good stuff. So tune in for that one. That pretty much does it. So hit us up by all of our by our name at all our social medias. Then hit me up personally. I'm at RyRy Security Guy. So that's RYRY Security Guy. I am on LinkedIn, Clubhouse, and Twitter. Stay safe, stay secure.